is what DICOTA is all about, bringing different ideas, different initiatives, and connecting with each other. At this time, we have a presentation from the National Housing Corporation, and so when you guys are ready, we'll tee it up. They're going to go through the presentation, and then at the conclusion of which we'll do a Q&A, and you'd have the opportunity to ask questions of them.
Basically, we start with TVC. That's a video brief for 7-Eleven.
Can you use the mic, please?
Just have to be on. Just switch on to the presentation, maybe you can check it later. Okay, basically my name is Tuntufe Mwangusi. I'm actually a sales manager for National Housing. I'm here with my colleague, Sophia Mwema. So we're here to present you some housing solutions and trying to share what we have. I'm sure most of you guys have been informed or you have a knowledge of what is happening with the National Housing. But it's good at least to get this kind of a platform. It's a real opportunity where we'll be here, we'll be able to exchange some ideas, we'll be able to share what is happening. There will be some challenging questions, making some clarification. So I'm going straight forward actually to the presentation. Okay, so we'll have like 7 areas to be covered. We'll have 7 areas to be covered. I'll take you through actually on a global look of the economy of Tanzania, the status of the real estate as we're talking now, some few slides actually talking about NHC. I'll run through very quick because I know some of the information are actually known to most of you. We'll cover a bit about the type of the projects that are currently being carried on by National Housing. And then we'll also look on opportunities which are available. I know that's what is most interesting to most of us. We understand most of you guys have traveled from different parts of the United States of America coming here just to see what is available, what are the opportunities that you can take on and team up with the National Housing. So a snapshot is about the population that we have. We're talking about 49.25 million Tanzanians. The annual growth rate is actually 7%. Our economy is the second largest actually in East Africa. I'm pretty sure after some time we'll be able to be the largest one, overtaking the Kenya economy. Our economy is driven actually by agriculture. There's a growth in industrial sectors like construction, mining, manufacturing, gas, and tourism. So there are plenty of things that are currently happening, and I'm pretty sure after some time actually we'll be able to move to the first or the largest economy in Africa. And then what is more happening is about the recently discovered of oil and gas. We understand the hit that the industry has taken so far in a global perspective, but after some time actually maybe there will be a bounce back to the oil and gas industry. The regional integration actually and the reforms that are being done currently are giving a good platform actually for investors and foreign direct investment, and even for diasporas to be able to take an advantage of what is happening back home. We spoke about the infrastructure, like, recently actually the oil pipeline gas that is going to be from Uganda coming to Tanga. So those are kind of opportunities that are really coming up. Okay, you look at it like with the population that we have, the country population is actually growing at the rate of 2.8 per year, but the urban population is growing faster than the population itself, because we're talking about 4.77%, and the Dar es Salaam actual population is growing very fast compared to the two, as much as we talk the urban population. The increase actually on access to mortgage. I know there's been a challenge on how the mortgage works back home. But if I look on this trend, I'm seeing the very positive picture of Tanzania. And actually, if I look on the future, I'm very much convinced, the economy is taking the right path. Because back in 2009, we only had 3 banks which were offering mortgage. But today we are standing at 21 banks offering mortgage rate. And again, if you look on the interest rate, by the time we started, it was more about 25%. But now it has gone down a little bit up to 18%. Who knows what will happen in the next few years to come? Or if you look at it, basically you see we are taking a right path as far as the economy is concerned. The housing shortage actually by now we are talking about 3.8 million units. And this is a reason where you say today, we need more and more developers coming to Tanzania. We need more and more sponsors who can come and do the project financing. Because if you talk about the competition, but the market itself is quite big, that national housing themselves or ourselves cannot do much. So we encourage most of the developers to look at it in a positive way and to team up actually with the local developers in Tanzania. There have been a lot of efforts that have been taken by the Tanzania government, that are inclusive like the introduction of the Unit Title Act, which was actually in 2008. And this actually gave the opportunity for people to be able to get the Unit Title Act, unit titles for their apartments that you can buy. The introduction of Watumishi Housing Corporation, which actually is one of the initiatives for the government sector, for the government of Tanzania, trying to address the challenges of housing for the civil servants. So National Housing and Social Provident Funds had teamed up to produce what is called Watumishi Housing Corporation, and it's more about saving the civil servants in Tanzania. The introduction of Tanzania Mortgage Refinancing Company Limited, this actually work hand in hand with the banks to ensure they get this kind of a long-term financing. So those are kind of the positive things that are actually happening back home. Of course, I will not dwell so much on a vision mission, but basically we're looking forward to be the leading real estate development management firm across Africa. So the mission actually to provide and facilitate the provision of quality housing and other buildings. So this is more that we are trying to look at it, when we talk about national housing, we are not talking about a small corporation. We are talking about the corporation with a 3.1 trillion capital base. Okay, so it's quite a huge and a big corporation that we have in Tanzania, something to be proud of. And when I actually joined National Housing in the past 2 years, there's a time when I was thinking about the training kind of view, and I was like, why don't I get a time going to Kenya and learn about what these guys are doing? And I was told, forget about Kenya. These guys are coming to learn from us. You see, so it's very positive, and we have a management team that is much focused to see, we have a kind of a corporation that is going to stand out from the rest. There have been a lot of initiative and actually changes in national housing. As I spoke about, the size in terms of capital base, but if I speak about, the number of buildings that we have, we're talking about 2,308 now. Number of units that we have is almost 17,111. So this is how big national housing is. And it's easy, even though when we look on how we can cooperate actually with the foreigners or the foreign companies, even for you guys trying to take an advantage on how we can work together. It's easier to sell national housing more than so many companies that at your fingertips. We spoke about the capital base. Actually, recently we've been doing our strategy for 2015, 2016 up to 2024, 25. That's a 10-year strategy. And our focus is to construct around 30,000 units that includes affordable housing, medium and high end. This also includes the commercial space that we're looking forward to build in Tanzania. The kind of projects actually, we are doing the retail and office, mixed use development, the residential one, projects. We're doing corporate tailored made projects. Yesterday I had someone talking about there's one of the companies that is looking forward to come to Tanzania These guys might be looking for, to have their own building. That's the kind of opportunity that National Housing will welcome it. We'll be able to build it. We'll be able to supervise it. So even though when you look at that angle, so you see there's a lot of areas where we can cooperate together, or you as diasporas can link actually the foreign companies when they want to come in Tanzania, focusing on more housing projects. We do satellite city, we do affordable housing, and there is a joint venture projects that we normally do, with other partners. That's a footprint that we have. We're almost, across Tanzania in each region, and we're focusing now to go down to the district. We've done several districts in the country, and basically in our strategy for the next 10 years, we're pretty sure that we'll have more than, 1 or 2 projects in each district. So that's the focus, getting like the affordable housing spread across the country. Our affordable housing, actually, there's a question of the pricing. The pricing that we have as of now, with the initiative that has been done, for the affordable housing, we have around, the price range between from 15,000 USD, that is equivalent to 30 million, okay, up to 29,000 USD. That's a price exclusive of a VAT. So this is when we talk about the affordable housing. I'm not saying like each and everyone will be able to access it, as much as no country in this world where you have each citizenship on the house. But at least as much as we have this kind of pricing, and there's a lot of initiative taking place within the corporation, trying to see the best that we can have, the price for the houses going down as much as the affordable housing is concerned. That's a sample for the, the affordable housing that we have. This is a project for Dar es Salaam, where I call Mwongozo project in Kigamboni. So we have 70 detached. It's an estate kind of. We are talking about 214 house units in Kigamboni. The benefit of the kind of estate that we have, you'll be able to get the playgrounds. There's a nursery school. You also have, the commercial place where people can do little shopping. So it's kind of integrated kind of project. You have water, you have electricity, everything is so much considered on this kind of the projects. So we also have townhouses, actually the lower floor and the upper floor. We have different type of townhouses in many of our projects. One in Dar es Salaam and like 3 or 4 regions in Tanzania. As far as I can remember, like in Sumbawanga, in Monduli. So there's a lot of things that is happening. Those are kind of facilities that I've spoken about. And then, as I spoke about the district where we have extended our footprint, this is actually in Kinga Tanga, Katavi, close by Sumbawanga, the Southern Highland. Okay, Busweru in Mwanza. Actually, this is close to city center. And then, so that is cover the part of affordable housing. Those are sample, a few projects that I've explained. But for affordable housing, we have more than 29 projects that were built since 2010, 2015. For the medium and high-end projects, so we have some of them, like you have seen 7-Eleven. This is one that is so much in the market right now. We started selling it last year, around November. This is actually in Kawe, Dar es Salaam, and that's a Google Map location, Kawe. This is a place where, in the past, we used to have Tanganyika Packers. So maybe Tanganyika Packers can be a little bit of, known to people, but there's a big satellite city that is coming. We're talking about 221 acres on one area. We have started with the 2 projects by now. 7-Eleven, which is around like 250 meters from the sea or from the beach. So it's just a walking distance. And this is the one that we showed, like, in the video before. So when you talk about 7-Eleven, actually we are trying to advocate the slogan or the global real estate phenomenon, where you speak about live, work, play, and enjoy. That you are able to be living there, you're able to be working there. There will be some small shopping centers by now, but there's a lot of it coming up as a satellite city, where we'll have offices, we'll have schools, we'll have hospitals, so people will be able to work around the same project. We have seen, like, there are basketball courts, you have tennis court, it's good for the health. And then you have a swimming pool, like, the time that you want to enjoy with the families, So you're getting everything at one place. I know this is not new for you guys here, but what we're trying to say, things are happening back home. 711 projects, we're talking about the size of the projects, 111,000 square meters. And then we have 8 residential blocks and commercial. The blocks that we have are detached. So it's not like, connected for 1 up to 8. And each block have around 52 to 53 units with a separate infrastructure. Like when you talk about the lift, each one has 2 of it. You have the garbage chute, you have firefighting equipment, you have smoke detectors, you have CCTV. So quietly compressed and everything that people are looking for, they'll be able to get, at 711. There are different types of units that we have from 3 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms. We have a commercial space where you have supermarket, retail, some coffee shops and food courts. So that's 711 actually. If you look on amenities like the basketball court and the tennis court are actually on the roof, so it's on the first floor. Okay, underneath you have a shopping center. Okay, so we are trying also to maximize all the efficient use of the space that we have, and just to make sure at least people don't pay so much on it by using a bigger land where you can have a kind of creativity, getting things done in a small area. We spoke about the amenities, okay. The next one is actually Morocco Square, which is right here, that's a banner. This is the largest project in East Africa to be constructed under one foundation. So it's so much connected, it's 110,000 square meters that we have. We have 4 towers. Sorry, that's a Google Map location for Morocco. It's 7 kilometers from town, from city center. As now, for those people who have been able to come to Dar es Salaam recently, Dar itself is moving toward north. And the north that we are talking about inclusive like, Alias and Winnie Road, going straight to Bagamoyo. So you might see a lot of building coming up along the same line. And this is where we see like, the city is moving. So you have like Morocco Square. Morocco Square is actually, so where you see the pin where Morocco Square is, it's just at the corner. Where you have 4 blocks, or we spoke about 110 square meters. So we're talking about 4 blocks that we have there. The 2 actually towers for commercial purpose. Then we have offices, and underneath actually we have a retail space or commercial space. We have the other one, this one, that's a hotel tower, and behind it where you have the residential tower. So the place is so much secured. You have all the facilities that you need, okay? And furthermore, you'll be able to enjoy, to work, play on the same place. We'll have some cinema halls. Okay, several number actually of coffee shops, so you can just be working and going straight down, with the family, picking them back, coming and watching the move, going and dining out. So it's not necessary that you come and live there, but it's a good place for investment. There is no such a project in Dar es Salaam where you can get all these 4 in one place. It's only a Morocco Square project. I think there's some challenge on this one. Okay, so that's the residential tower, run up a bit. The facilities, actually, we're talking about the swimming pool, the standby generator. I know that's something that people are also concerned with. I started living on a high-rising building almost a year now. Actually, one of the beneficial, actually, to be able to testify. My life has changed completely. I used to stay, in periphery of Dar es Salaam, and I moved into, to this kind of, new project that we have. I can tell you, never ever have seen the power cut. Okay, when we come home, we speak about like, living on a high-rising building. What will happen if the, power goes out? But you have a standby generator that is, just kick out off like this. So there is no such kind of challenge. You have the water reservoir, you have pumps which take water to the top. And then, the pressure that you can experience on this kind of building, I've never seen it in, this kind of mansion that you have, or the low-laying kind of housing. So we are very much focusing to see, like, the solution that we're providing really works. You have the internet facility, you have all these kind of things, the security part of it covered. by having like the guards, the security system, like the CCTV cameras. So there's a lot of things that are happening in a good way. The commercial space that we spoke about, the offices, is more about the investment, where we'll have some companies coming, and so far, at least I would say, like, we've seen a lot of companies coming in, doing their booking, and some have already started paying. So even the uptake is quite convincing on what we have as of now, and this is why we're still focused to come with a better solution. That's the retail part of the project. And actually, this is another interesting opportunity for you guys, because actually what we are looking for now is like, having those kind of shops or designer shops, or kind of the brand, that will bring the vibrate to the project. That will bring that kind of a touch. So we are trying to get the value up, trying to get this kind of, retail operators that will definitely come and give the value to the project. I understand it's not for each and everyone back home where you have like people coming and trying the business, but we're looking forward to have this kind of a business people who have already tested, and proved to be successful. So we will definitely be working together, and we'll open up a chance for you guys to try to work out on something on the way that you can help to bring back, this kind of brands to come and operate on Morocco Square project. Eco-resident, this is almost done. I know sometimes you have a challenge, like, you come with a nice picture, maybe the final product is not the same that you used to market it. I can tell you, like, this is what we used to market it before. This is Eco-residence, which is actually in Kinondon. And this is actually the picture which was taken like a month ago. So this is the actual one. I see it for sure. Okay. You'll see a little discrepancy on, what we had spoken before. So, Golden Premium Kawe coming up. We have Golden Premium the same. We have Pro 300. So there's a lot of projects coming up. But I also wanted to speak about the Central City that we have that are coming up. And last but least, No, I'm trying to give a picture on a Safari City, Central City, which is actually in Arusha. So we have some Central City actually happening in Arusha and actually in Moshi. So you see there's a lot of things happening. And Usaliva, and I'll have Salama Creek in Dar es Salaam. These are kind of projects that will come in next maybe 5 years or 7 years. The last one actually is how you can get access to our products. Is when you'll be able to, we have 3 ways of paying it. Buying through the mortgage. We have what is called a progressive payment plan. And it's simple, like you pay 10%, and then we give an offer letter, then you access the banks, we have CRDB here, and the other guys have been here talking about it, so it's not like you need to pay 100% from your pocket. Those are banks, as I spoke about the opportunities. There's opportunity for B2B, business to business, that we talk about the technology part of it, the transfer of technology. We speak about the project financing. OPIC was here talking about the way they can finance, so we can link the two with us. The joint venture product and business to customer, where you have housing purchase and the rentals for you to be able to enjoy. And that's all. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much. We were on time. Before we left for break, you came back late, so now we're behind. But we would like to leave time for some question and answers. So let's please ask some questions and answers of National Housing, and we do have another panel still after this one.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Fanny, and my question for you is about preservation. I've been to Dar, and I go to Dar almost every other year or every year, and I see the landscape has completely changed. What's the plan? What's the plan that you have in place to make sure that the historical sites in Dar are preserved? Because when I go to Dar, it's not Dar anymore.
Two questions and then
all right. Do we have another one? Within 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, my biggest concern about purchasing property that is flooding. Do you have a study that I can reference if I wanted one before I purchase? And also, could I get insurance? Because in some cases, if you are in a flood zone, you might not be able to get a mortgage insurance.
Good question.
It was not very clear for the second question.
Do you have
we couldn't hear it well.
You might need to repeat it.
Apologies for that.
I'll rephrase the question. Please ask the next one.
Okay.
3 questions and then we'll have that.
2 minutes.
My name is Peter Kumbo. I'm fairly new here in the US. I just have like 18 months. I'm a student at Clemson University in South Carolina. So I have like 2 questions. One of the questions is, what's the lifespan of the affordable house? Like, how? Kwamba nikinunua itaishi miaka 30 au miaka 12. The second question is, can you provide the detail of the materials for someone who want to buy the house so that they know this home is being built by these materials? Thanks.
I think we can take one more.
Yes, my name is John Aldero. My question is, these are very nice luxury houses, and in realistic, I don't see majority of Tanzanians can afford to buy these houses. So is there any way maybe you guys can have affordable houses which everybody can afford to buy? More affordable houses.
I'll start with the first one, actually, with the historical sites are being preserved. I think that's a good concern, to be honest. In many cases, we want to have a history behind where our kids and the next generation will come and see, like, this was the past. As much as what we are doing right now, we have 2 types of the project that we're coming out with. Of course, there are those, the previous one owned building that we crash them down and come out with something new. But again, we are also trying to reuse the new lands that has never been built before. If I look on a proportionality that we have between the 2, I'm pretty sure, like, we haven't done even 1%, okay, of crashing down the building, the old one. So I'm pretty sure, like, we still have some, but it's something that we need to notice it, and I'm sure, like, that will be taken care of. The second one was more about the affordable building, and if you're sure of, like, as much we call it affordable housing, then the next 20 or 30 years they will be there. Currently what we are using as a material for affordable housing, we are using the hydroform bricks. Okay, we are actually these are kind of bricks that has been tested and proved to be successful. We did our research. We actually even went to South Africa using it so much. And even the guys who are supplying with the heavy-duty machines, they came from South Africa. So there is always a test that is being done. The bricks have proved to be durable. I can guarantee you have more than 50 years for affordable housing. So worry not about if they're going to crash in the next 10, 20 years, but it's going to go even up to 70 years. It's something that the technology that has been proved and is working and is not new in the construction industry.
Can you guarantee 50 years of lifespan when someone buys those houses? Can you guarantee lifespan of 50 years?
I can guarantee with that one because it's not something that we have started a new wheel. It's something that we copy and paste. And these guys who are supplying actually in terms of the machine and even the composition is something that has been tested. So with that one, I'm more than ready to guarantee on the same. You asked this, the third one was more about how affordable housing and is it many Tanzania who are able to afford buying their houses? As I shown on my slide there, when you talk about 15,000 USD, that is 30 million without VAT. Very true, you look at it, you say not all Tanzania will afford, okay? But again, we have the means, like, the way we're working with even banks. So it's not like someone will need to come and pay 40 million right away. You have a choice or option to go to the bank, okay, get a loan, a mortgage, and pay it, on a monthly basis as an agreement with the bank with the next 20 years. So yeah, many will be rich on that. I wouldn't say all Tanzanians will be able to own their houses, which, as I said before, it's not the case in either of the country where you have, every citizen own the house.
There was one question regarding flood zone, flood insurance, etc.
No, the question was guaranteeing that homes are not built in flood-prone areas, and what type of insurance, hazard insurance, do you provide, or does the homeowner get once they buy a home in a floodplain, for example?
Yeah, and there was one slide which I actually left it and I didn't use it. That's the reason we give people to buy housing from national housing. We just don't build the houses. We are not selling the 4 walls. We are selling a home. So normally, where we build the houses, we always look at it, look on the place where we develop our projects. We are there to stay. So basically, we always consider on where we put our projects, and that can give you a guarantee on the same. Okay, the insurance part of it, actually, if you look on a Unit Title Act, it's compulsory for people to put the insurance. So it's not the insurance that National Housing is putting, but each homeowners, according to the bylaws and the Unit Title Act, the insurance has to be secured before the house when we do the handover of the project. You have a homeowners association which actually sit there to enforce, people complying to the Unit Title Act.
I'm sorry, I just have a follow-up question on that. Flooding? Do you have a company that does your study, your feasibility study? Do you have such a record or company that does it for you? That if I requested that information, I can actually have it.
Okay, about the company that is doing the research, we have what is called National Housing Building, I'll get the correct name actually. This is a government agency research firm, okay, that was commissioned and is still there doing researches on the housing. The challenge that remains to be is more about, if you ask even, the researchers, the definition of affordable housing. I have to admit, we haven't get to the position and say the affordable housing A to Z has A, B, C, okay? You'll have a challenge in terms of, the size of the house, because we built, the minimum one, with a 70 square meter, and people were like, it's too small. You go to South Africa, they have 56 square meter for the 3-bedroom houses. So I'm saying, you might not get the correct definition of affordable housing, but there is a research firm, which is actually the government owned, that is doing research on the same.
Ndugu yangu tutufi. Mimi naitwa Mokasisi, mchungaji Mokasisi. Sasa kawaida wachungaji naongea ukweli. Sisi tuko mbali na nyumbani, lakini nataka nikupe siri moja tu. Kwa sababu humu ndani kuna mpendwa mwingine ambaye naye alikuwa tayari anataka kununua nyumba yako. Lakini akiwa kwenye process ya kununua nyumba, kwa sababu ni mpendwa, ikabidi aambiwe siri. Akabidi aambiwe siri kwa bwana, yani tayari ndio kukulipa. Ndio akaambiwa hizo nyumba usinunue. Kwa sababu ndio mimi mwenyewe kama civil engineer, material can be good, but how you supervise the actual construction is critical. Na wengi kule nyumba wengi contractors ambao wanatumia kazi yao ni kusave money. Kwa hiyo unless kuna quality control, it doesn't matter what kind of material you use. Kuna watu wengine within your corporation wakimfahamu nani anunua nyumba, wakwambia bwana no, don't waste your money. Kwa hiyo huyu mtu ana nyumba kule mwenyewe ya Kigamboni, na anataka kununua nyumba nyingine ya kwenu. Ndio kaambiwa don't even think about it. Kwa hiyo kama kuna watu wengine wanunui nyumba, kumbe within your corporation wengine wanatoa hizo siri zenu ambazo wapo kama sales manager huwezi kutuambia. Kwa hiyo ndio.
Okay, naomba ni respond hiyo direct. Ni kwamba like a few months ago, there was a client who came by and told me, like, you know, I really wanted to buy a certain kind of a project. Maybe I can use even Swahili kwa sababu nitumie Kiswahili pia. Alitaka kununua nyumba, and then alipotaka kununua nyumba, kweli one of the staff akamwambia usinunue nyumba. Sawa, na huo mradi ni unaitwa Mindu project. I know some of you guys here wanajua Mindu jinsi ilivyo. The poor guy didn't buy the house. Lakini years has gone, there's a day he paid the visit, akati project imeisha, and he regretfully so bad. I'm talking to you honestly. Sawa. Hiyo ni project ambayo mtu alimwambia usinunue. Kwa hiyo ninachojaribu kusema ni kwamba as an organization, I wouldn't say that we are perfect 100%. There are areas of improvement that certainly we need to work out. And if we reach a point where we think we're perfect, then we are gone out of the business. So I'm taking it very positive, like with a feedback like those. There could be one project or another, like it's not a project, it's a project. There could be, this is a construction industry. Unaweza kufanya kitu probably kweli kisiweka out vizuri, lakini I don't mean as a project yote haiko vizuri. Kuna vitu kama snags zinatokea kwenye nyumba. You have snags, then you have number of days ambazo sisi tuko responsible to rectify. Kwa hiyo I wouldn't say kwamba ni kweli kwamba tunajenga nyumba ambazo hazina standard. I'm not saying there could be no even a single disappointment in one stage or another, but we always be there to work together to rectify.
Asante, naomba niongezee kwenye point ya Tuntufe. Kuna kitu ambacho hajakisema. National Housing haifanyi ujenzi peke yake, inachukua funds. Na moja wa funders kwa mfano Morocco Square ni CRDB Bank. Kwa hiyo na sisi tunakuwa na engineers ambao wanaenda kuangalia kuhakikisha ubora kwa sababu tuna hela za depositors. Kwa hiyo kuna more eyes ambazo zinaangalia kwenye hiyo kitu. That's one. Kwenye nyumba za individuals unapokuja kukopa kwetu na kununua, katika ile interest tunayokucharge 1% ni insurance. Anything happens, you are covered. Kwa hiyo National Housing pia wanakuwa liable kwa hizo small snags. Naomba mwe positive, mchukue opportunities. Nyumbani kuna change, msiwe mkaachwa nyuma na changes.
Mr. Mwambusi, first of all, thank you very much for being here. I like what you said, things are happening back home, and that's very encouraging to, I think, majority of us, if not all of us here. Now, you highlighted a little bit, but I don't think you went into details, probably limited by time, on JVs, joint ventures. Can you expand a little bit in how that works? And if someone is interested, or if I know somebody who might be interested, how do I go about it?
Okay.
Can you take 2 questions? 2 more.
Asante kwa kupata nafasi nyingine tena kuuliza swali, lakini swali langu lingine nakuwa kwenye present kwenye slide kama ya 4 ya 5 kuna kitu kilikuwa kimekuwa mentioned kwamba detachable affordable houses. Leo hiyo term ilikuwa na semi-detachable affordable housing. Sikumbuki ilikuwa ni kitu gani. Lakini vile vile kama alivyosema mchungaji, mimi nimesema kama hapa nipo hapa Marekani kwa muda kama miezi 18 tu hapa. Kwa muda mwingi nilikuwa niko nyumbani, nilikuwa ninafahamu. Ukiongelea ugumu wa haya matofali mnayotumia ya kusema ya hydroform. Nazifahamu mashine za hydroform za South Africa, lakini kuna mashine zingine ambazo zinafanana na mashine za hydroform zinatengenezwa kama sikosei na Sido. Ugumu wa tofali la mashine ya hydroform kama sikosei ni 7.2 kilopascals per pressure, wakati mashine ya Sido ni 3, ni almost half. Kuna some of the projects ambao nilikuwa mimi naweza kusema kabisa kwamba kweli kwa hii haya mambo yote ambao wanafanya National Housing mambo ambayo ni mazuri, ni positive in many ways, lakini kama alivyosema mchungaji, kuna tatizo baadhi ya project kwenye usimamizi, na ninaweza kusema kabisa kwamba kama mnatoa na warranty kwamba hii nyumba itakuwa inaishi miaka 50, at some point mnaweza kuwa mnapata hasara, mnakuja kupata hasara. Swala la usimamizi inaweza kuwa ni tatizo kwa baadhi ya projects. Siwezi kusema ni all counts, lakini kusema project ambazo kuna zingine ambazo nilishuhudia mwenyewe nikaingiwa na mashaka. Kwa hiyo kuna kitu wanasema hivi kwamba kama unafanya biashara alafu mtu anakuambia ukweli kuhusiana na biashara yako wewe, huyo ni mtu mzuri zaidi, kwa sababu anataka wewe ujirekebishe ili uweze kuendelea kuwepo kwenye biashara, tofauti na yule ambaye anakusifia hata kama ukifanya vibaya, anakwambia tu kwamba oh, I like your food, I like your restaurant, I like, lakini harudi tena, hakusaidii kitu.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah.
We'll take one last question because, again, as I mentioned, we're behind schedule. So, Jerry, I think there's a gentleman up here with his hand up.
1 minute. I was given 1 minute. My name is Dr. Ken. My name again is Dr. Temba. My PhD is in applied management, decision sciences, information management systems, and industrial engineer in electrical and mechanical engineering. Mimi nimefanya kazi Wazo Hill as an instrument engineer, and we know the quality of the cement.
But I can hardly hear you.
It meets the ISO standards. So the quality of the bricks in Tanzania, they meet the standards of the building materials. Now here we have to educate ourselves. There are two components here. Component ya kwanza inaitwa QFD, Quality Function Deployment. Ile Quality Function Deployment inakuuliza kwamba kama wewe unataka kununua nyumba, lazima ushughulishwe kununua nyumba, kudesign ile nyumba. Sio una design nyumba, unaniambia hii nyumba wewe ingia ndani. No, you have to participate in that program so that you can know ile nyumba umejenga wewe na wewe quality yake ndio unayotaka. Then there is another thing called concurrent engineering. Those two components, they cover the costs. The investors and the stakeholders, they're all involved. We can cut your cost of your houses 30 to 40% if you involve us here, because we have that knowledge. Nyumba zako wewe ni ghali sana, too expensive. Kile chumba kile tumekionesha hapa hivi kiko kama garage, right? Kiko kama garage. Wanatuuzia $15,000, wakati hapa maybe $3,000 is more expensive for that. Please consult with us. We can give you those models and you will cut your cost. Na Watanzania watakuta na nyumba nzuri. All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. One is about the JV. I might not get so much in details, but we can take it one-to-one, especially in terms of, because it's more about a process where we have someone putting in money. For example, there is a two-way. We either provide land and someone come in with the money, and then we come out with a project when we agree on a profit sharing ratio. Okay, so that's one of the kind of JV that we have. But secondly, is more about the semi-detached housing. Of course, we spoke about, like, you know, you have one unit, one block, and then you have two units, yeah? Like this. So one block, you have like 2 units, or you have 4 units. Those are semi-detached housing. But third, of course, you spoke about supervision. As I said, like, you know, we are not perfect 100%. Construction, you cannot, we have bridges which are being built on a first world countries, and you see collapse after some time if something didn't go right. But again, I can tell you, with the project that we have one, especially the design and building, where we have these first-class contractors who are building the top-notch buildings in Dar es Salaam. These are the guys that we are using. You ask today about Esteem, everyone will tell you. CRJ, someone will tell you. Group 6, you know. So seriously, it's not like we are using, you know, Tom, Dick, and Harry coming and building this kind of housing. And I will encourage you, one time that you have time, you come to Dar es Salaam, pay a visit. I have had a lot of friends who have been negative on the projects. I'm not saying you, but people saying, like, you know, it's expensive, it's not worth it. But I have like 2 or 3 friends who came to visit my apartment, and they said to look here. We have been making noise, we didn't know these are kind of things that you guys have. So talking about this, we have those kind of qualities, and when you come to affordable housing, of course, and in our supervision, actually we have our internal team, we have contractor administrators who are checking after the contractor. And there's a lot of process throughout the handover of the housing. We had some projects which didn't go right, especially on affordable housing, but we also worked out again, like one was in Morogoro, and then, we had an issue on a floor. And then we were to redo it, because something didn't go right. And not that these are kind of a project that we just started on a phase 1, where you could have some challenge in between. But there's a lot of supervision that is being put in place. There's a lot of creativity that are coming in. There's a lot of development. Don't be left out. She wanna put in some.
Samani, habari za jioni. Nimependa recommendation ya baba pale ya quality, aliongelea kwenye quality ya nyumba zetu, lakini ningeomba niongezee kwenye hilo swala la affordable housing. Kwa kweli ukiangalia price, bado watu wanalalamika wakisema kwamba price zetu hazijakaa sawa, lakini ukiangalia the location ya most of our houses, kama for instance Kigamboni, hiyo project ya Mwongozo unaongelea nyumba ya vyumba viwili ambayo unaweza ukanunua kwa 52 million inclusive of VAT. Project hiyo iko within a walking distance to the beach. The same project inakuja na facilities ambazo unapata nursery school ndani ya project. Unapata shule, unapata dispensary, unapata kids playing area. The project it is gated community. Kuna pavement, kuna umeme, kuna vitu facilities and more. Kwa hiyo price, kwa kweli msiachie hiyo opportunity. I would recommend better ukapay a visit au ukatuma jamaa zako wakaja wakakutizamia kule ili uweze kuwa convinced rather than relaying kwenye habari unazosoma kwenye jamii forums au magazeti bila kufuatilia hizo opportunities kwa karibu. Niliona tu niongezee kwenye hilo.
And again, she's talking about, what is available there. As I said, we are not selling 4 homes, we are selling a home. Lakini pia kuna vitu ambavyo tunaendelea kupambana with the government pia. Trying to see if each and everyone do his part. TANESCO, kama wataleta umeme mpaka kwenye project. If I have DAWASCO wakaleta maji yao mpaka kwenye project, there's a lot of cost that, actually will not be counted into the final product. Lakini pia tunazungumza ndio hivyo vitu vya umeme, maji, na hizo facilities ambazo ziko hapo. Kuna issue ya VAT ambayo tumeendelea kupushiana na government kuona pia inaondoka. So I would say as national housing, as much as we are not perfect, lakini if you look on a journey that we came from and where we are today, there's a lot of positive stuff that have happened, and we are sure in the future bado tutazidi kuona vitu tuna work out. Kwa hiyo karibuni sana. We'll have our booth out there, you'll get more information. Yeah.
Let's thank National Housing. Miriam and crew, you are next. We have one final group of presenters. This is on entrepreneurship. And one of the things we were challenged as members of the diaspora is to talk about the positive things that we do. And so we have 2 entrepreneurs who will be with us today, and they will talk about opportunities and challenges of their entrepreneurship.
Are we all awake? Let's take maybe 10 seconds to stretch. I'll give that to you if you want to stand up and stretch a little bit. Yes, let's just stretch a little bit. We're almost down to the wire. I know we're standing between dinner and cocktails, and happy hour. But I promise this will be very practical and hopefully a good closing from what we've learned today. I know I'm personally inspired by what I've heard today. My name is Miriam Chiume. I live in New York. I am youngest of 7, and I am an aunt of 11 nephews and nieces. And I know, it's quite an adventure. And for this last session, we're going to talk about business and entrepreneurship. And we have two wonderful speakers today, our own personal entrepreneurs. And we've all heard the conversations today. We should all take part in helping ourselves. We have heard about the sources of funding, from the big projects to the small projects. And so, as we close out, it's great to hear the stories from people that are actually doing something about it. They're pursuing their dreams and learn from their experiences. And so we have Justa Cheska, I promise not to butcher her name, Ujogana, who lives in New York as well. She's the founder of Curious on Tanzania, which was founded 3 years ago. And she decided to start this business, and I'll let her explain it to her, because of her love for Tanzania. And so she will tell us what it's about and how she is incorporating culture and tourism in New York and back home. We also have Dennis, who lives in Wichita, Kansas. Yes, he's the founder and president of Global Logistics. He also started his business over 8 years ago. And he's also very inspirational in terms of staying in there and being able to support the business and sticking it out to almost getting closer to 10-year mark, which we all know for small businesses is a big challenge. And so I welcome them both to hear their stories and what inspired them to start the businesses and what are the challenges that they've learned from this. So who wants to go first? Ladies first? Sorry.
I was going to let him go first because, as you could tell. So my name is Justa Lujongana. I am from Tanzania, Bukoba specifically. I'm Haya. So the challenges. This is one of the challenges, public speaking. So I'm going to start out. I don't know if I could take this out and go down. Okay. Okay, so, oh, I can't step over there. Okay, so the way I started out with Curious on Tanzania, it was a passion. It's like a passion that was given to me through a gift. I had to present you with pictures first. So 4 years ago, my family and I had this idea to start a TV show which was showcased in Tanzania. And from that TV show, we had the opportunity where we were presented with a free trip to safari. At that time, 3 years ago, you tell me safari, I'm like, I am not going to see animals. And I was like, can I have like Jamaica or something like that? That's better. But then when they said it was free, I was like, oh, I'm on board. So this is a picture. My sister's over there, my brother, and I'm all the way on the other side. My mom is actually hiding. So when we went on this trip, it kind of like changed my perspective on what Tanzania was. I was used to going back home, 1 for funerals, 2 for vacations just to see my family, but we spent most of our time just visiting family. And that's what it was all about. So I ended up, like, after like touring around, I realized like how beautiful our country was. And I wanted to end up going to explore more and more. So these are some of the pictures that I took, or some of the this is in, where is this? Mikumi, one of the lodges in Mikumi. And that's me when I was in, where was this? Was it Morogoro with the kids? This is all the way in Serengeti, one of the lodges, Sopa. That's my brother. Clicks. Okay. So this is more pictures. This is in Ngorongoro. My mom is on that side and everybody else. So it was more like a family-oriented thing when I got to experience. That's my brother jumping over Ngorongoro. And that's Tarangire. This is a picture, of course, I got it from somewhere else. There's no way I could take a picture like this. Maybe like in 2 years I will. And this is one of the places that's not visited as much. This is Sanje Waterfalls. It's all the way in Odzungwa, if you guys know of the place. I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit of my story through a video, so she's gonna play it. Can you play the video? Can you switch the video? It's online.
I moved to the United States at the age of 12, but each time I come back, I notice something different and I notice something new, and it just grabs my attention, and I want to like showcase it to everybody. I want to tell all my friends about it. I want to tell my friends how beautiful like Tanzania is, and they should be able to come and enjoy it and see it the way I see it, or the way we Tanzanians see it, because it's amazing. Like all together, like Africa is beautiful. It's a beautiful place to come visit. And my journey right now with Curious in Tanzania is basically to showcase what Tanzania is all about in my own eyes, and also to just give a different perspective on what Africa is all about. It's not just about us not having enough food to eat, or us being the poverty according to what people say by it. We are rich in some other places. We are rich by our land, as you can see. We are rich in like so many different places. So more emphasis on just being, just people getting out there, people traveling, and people coming to see like Tanzania all together. And that's what Curious in Tanzania is all about.
You could go back to the slide. So that's why I call it Curious in Tanzania. So once I became, once